beautiful day. Look at the fans. There's no grandstands here. 30,000 expected, and they started rolling in at 7:30 this morning. You love to see it. And the weather, well, 2 days ago it was 100 degrees here. This morning, 63 degrees, supposed to just get into the 70s by race time. So we will take it. We're excited to have you here on this Saturday morning. Say hello. I'm Jamie Little, joined by Michael Waltrip and Trevor Bain. So we've got qualifying coming up. This is totally different than we normally do. There's 2 sessions, 20 minutes each. So Trevor, what is the strategy here to get that fastest lap for qualifying?
Well, if I'm a driver on pit road right now, Jamie, there are a few things going through my mind. Number one is it's cooler. How much grip is going to be on this racetrack, and how fast do I have to go? The second thing is, how do I get a clean lap? With close to 20 trucks on the track at the same time, this place is tough to pass on, so you don't want to catch someone, have to lift, give up that lap. So getting a clean lap with your spotters is going to be all the key to having a good starting spot.
You know what I took away from yesterday's practice session? Fun. This racetrack is a lot of fun. You talked about getting a clean lap, Trevor. We're going to come down off turn 6 and take the green flag right there. You see the alternate start-finish line. Work our way down the front straightaway, and then through 2, 3, and 4. And then when you get up to turn 5, they're going to get some air. We saw trucks off the ground hopping up off that corner yesterday. A lot of fun in this session. You talked about strategy. I want a clean lap. How do I get it? As tight as things are on this little racetrack.
And there's so many question marks and storylines. We've got the road course ringers. Jordan Taylor is here. He was fastest in practice yesterday. But then you got Corey Heim, who was putting down some good lap times. So who will it be? One of our regulars, or will it be a ringer just coming in for today's race? We'll find out when we drop the green flag for qualifying. Coming up next.
But not all the trucks will go out at the same time as well. Some drivers will want to follow maybe a truck that is a better road course racer to get a better qualifying time. Others will wait for a clean track. So those are things to keep an eye on with this qualifying session, guys.
Thank you for that, Josh. It looks like Tyler Ankrum in the 18 first out. We've been talking about this, kind of the strategy here on what you can do with 20 minutes.
Well, Josh made a couple great points right there. Number one is tire fall off. There was more of that yesterday than we saw, so it is advantageous to go out and have a fast lap and not have to run again or run multiple laps. The second thing that he mentioned was following a fast truck. This is Group 1, which is based off of a metric where it's some of our trucks that maybe didn't run as good last week or aren't as high in the points, so we won't see as many of our top contenders in this group, but there were some fast trucks. Andres Perez stands out, was in the top 5 most of practice. Ben Rhodes is in this group, so how can you find them and go out and follow them?
And you saw those guys tiptoeing off of pit road. We talked about the alt start finish line. You don't want to put any more heat in those tires than necessary. You don't want to wear them out any. You want to get the most of those tires. And I think the first lap is going to be the quick lap unless you make a mistake. And we saw the twists and turns on this course. A mistake is very possible. You slip a wheel off. I mean, you're talking a half of a second if you get off the road too far. So these guys have got to stay on the track, but also manage those tires.
So they can make that lap. If they want to make any adjustments, they can. They can bring it in, let the engine cool down a little bit, some air pressure, track bar adjustments. Very limited, but they can make those adjustments if they want to go back out and try for a second or third lap.
These trucks are really fine-tuned right now, Trevor. The weather's cool, the tires are fresh. This is as good as it's ever going to feel all day long for these guys.
That's absolutely it, and we see Tyler Ankrum go a little bit slower than he went in practice yesterday, so you would imagine he's going to run a second lap here, maybe get some rhythm. You know, it is the first time these trucks have run here, and so for a lot of these drivers, where if you went to Watkins Glen, you know the track so well, you could do it on your first lap. But today we may see them go ahead and run 2 in a row versus coming in, cooling down, and running a second lap later, just from a pure rhythm standpoint of getting a feel for it. Also, we have some ARCA rubber on the racetrack that was put down yesterday in practice after the truck practice. Can make the track feel a little slimy, so we see some dirt there where somebody's done some off-road.
That's that half second I told you about. When you get off in the grass and dirt, kick those rocks up, that can hurt the other trucks too before that gets blown off the road.
1.3 second pickup for Tyler Ankrum. That's a big jump from lap 1 to lap 2, and again, that's probably just his comfort level increasing as he runs.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's hard to know what to expect. We had some guys at the end of practice yesterday do some mock qualifying runs. Jordan Taylor, one of those, he jumped to the top. But this morning, as we talked about, it's much cooler.
And that is faster than Jordan Taylor ran in practice yesterday for Tyler Ankrum by about a tenth. And so the track obviously has a lot of speed. I know it wasn't scorching hot yesterday there. It was in the 70s, but today it is about 10, 15 degrees cooler, and cooler temps always add some grip to the racetrack.
Josh Bilicki makes his run, pulls off the racetrack on the pit road. He's third quick so far, 54.37. Nice pickup from his run yesterday.
Timmy Hill there in the 56.
Andres Perez got his fastest lap on his first lap. You can see he's just about a tenth and a half off of Ankrum as Timmy Hill pulls in.
Nope. We saw that yesterday from Perez. He fired off right away with speed, and I like that he kind of knows where that limit is. Now he's only got 1 lap on the tires. He can cool down and go run again later if he needs to.
William Lambros making his Truck Series debut from Northport, New York. This is kind of his home track. You see Skip Barber on the side of that truck. He went to school there. That's where he got the drive and the excitement for racing, and then he became an instructor. So he's got a lot of laps around this place as he works his way here for his first lap of qualifying.
Isn't that cool that he's an instructor here, and then he gets this opportunity to hop in a truck, get out there and make some laps, and look at that. Slipping and slide. We're going to see that all day long, Trevor. This is going to be such a fun day. Lime Rock Park, the Truck Series. What a beautiful setting we have here.
I love that we have these two totally polarized combinations going on. We've got road course racers, like you just mentioned, with Lambros, that have a lot of experience on these types of tracks, racing, turning right and left, and driving a lot of different cars. And then you have guys who have a lot of experience in the trucks. And we don't really have anyone who has both of those at the same time. And so getting that feel for what these trucks do, no ABS, no traction control, you see them sliding around.
And no Cup superstars in this race. Obviously, they're all in Atlanta racing tonight. And this is the 62. We mentioned We had an issue yesterday. Heard Josh talk about that. Wesley Slimp. This is what happened.
He locked up that right front tire going into the corner there. That cut the tire. The tire then flew apart, hit the fender brace. The fender brace then took out the oil cooler. And then this is a result of all that. Talked to Stuart Friesen this morning. That's actually that's Stuart's backup truck. They just decaled it and got her all back together. Wesley's going to use this session, as Josh reported earlier, as a practice session, get some laps in and figure out what he needs to do to be able to be competitive this evening.
Michael, that is great information. I could not figure out how the chain of events could have played out, that you lock up a tire and then you catch on fire. You know, I'm thinking, did he wheel hop? Did something happen in the drivetrain? Or maybe did an oil line pop off to cause that lockup? But that is pretty wild. I don't know if I've seen a fender brace do that before.
That's quite the sequence, isn't it?
It is.
Well, you mentioned, and this is good for him, a lucky break. This isn't normal qualifying, so he can run multiple laps here and get a feel for this backup truck as we ride on board and see what Frankie Muniz is up to with his hands and his feet.
Look at him work that wheel. Just gingerly trying to get that throttle down. We see trucks slipping and sliding off the corners. You can't just mat it, Trevor. You got to work that gas pedal.
Yeah, that right foot is going to be as much of a tool to manage the balance of these race trucks as that steering wheel is. And we don't always see that. You see the truck sliding around, and you can hear the RPM change. Check this out as he kind of comes off the corner. He's going to play with that throttle there and tap the brake a little bit. Make sure he has pedal pressure compressing down into turn 7. Now you got to get back to the gas early. He's obviously coming to pit road here, but so much going on inside the cockpit of these trucks today. Josh?
Well, down here with Corey Heim, who has won the last 2 road course races, so looking to go 3 in a row. But can you talk to me just about Lime Rock and what this experience is like coming here for the first time? What's a lap like out here?
Yeah, it's really cool. I've done a lot of iRacing in the past here, and being able to come out in front of a new kind of fan base in a new area, a new region for us is really cool to begin with. But presents a pretty unique and cool challenge for us. I mean, with the elevation changes, uphill, downhill, pretty short road course, but also offers a lot of tire wear as well. So a couple new challenges, something that we're not used to. Haven't road course raced in a truck in a little over a year, so you know, having a lot of fun. I feel like it's a tough track to consistently hit your marks, but qualifying is going to be very important as well for track conditions. All in all, just having a blast out here. Excited to try and go lay a lap down, but really thankful for Tricon Garage, Safe Lane Toyota for everything they do for me.
Corey was one of the best in practice yesterday. We'll see how he does in qualifying and then the race, Jamie.
That's right, Josh. He was 4th quick in practice, but Corey brought up a good point. These guys don't road course race a whole lot. It's been over a year since they've done it, and this will be the first of 3 races this year.
And Trevor, you're very aware of all the sim work that goes into preparing for a place like Lime Rock Park here. What are some of the things that you've seen these teams do in preparation for this specific race?
Well, first of all, Corey mentioned iRacing. Corey is an anomaly in a way. He's young, he's got a ton of talent, but I don't think people realize how much time he spends preparing for every single week. He works as hard or harder than anyone I know, and it's because he loves it. He loves to be on that simulator, running laps, running races. Last week, I think he ran 5 or 6 races on iRacing here, but for the last month, he's been running laps on this track. You know, when we went to North Wilkesboro and iRacing didn't have a super up-to-date model from the repave, he went ahead and ran Lime Rock. And so he's been seeing this, and then he went to the sim and worked on it. Now, as close as you can get a sim, there are things about a real racetrack that you can't simulate. And that one of those was the bumps in turn 1 here today. Corey said yesterday he went into the corner and felt some bumps that he wasn't prepared for, didn't know about. And he had to change his line. You see Matt Crafton bouncing over those bumps in turn 1 right there. That's the ones he was talking about. So you want to do all that you can to prepare, but no, there are going to be some differences when you get to the real thing.
Matt Crafton 7th on the board right now, working lap 3 for him for this qualifying session. Tyler Ankrum, fastest at Lime Rock Park. We're in the first group of qualifying for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
At Mothers, we're driven by the same passions you are, fueled by more than 50 years of purpose and innovation. We're driven by the details, the finish, the shine, the personal style. We're driven by the
fastest lap we've seen all weekend, and that 77 truck just laid it down. Got to feel really good about that time. We were just talking during break, Trevor, about what we thought the pole speed might be. Jamie guessed about a 53.70. I guessed 50. You went 53.30. We're creeping down toward your goal.
Well, you guessed first, and I felt like you were probably about right on it, so we had to box you in. You know,
Gotcha.
like the Price is Right. We had to keep you in a tight spot there. But how about Tony Breidinger's pickup from practice? She's about a second and a half faster than yesterday. See her in 11th there. She has a lot of road racing experience, did some of the GR Cup stuff, and actually tested at VIR this week preparing. She's another driver that works really hard at this. I know she's not gotten the results that she wants on track, but she has not failed at preparing and working at these races every week. I can promise you that.
That's even faster lap for her there, 55.14. I watched her yesterday, and she was running behind Corey Heim, and there's part of the track where she could keep pace with Corey, and that's what learning's all about, putting the whole lap together, and that's what's that's the most difficult part about road racing, is tying all 7 corners together and having that kind of speed.
Absolutely. I would say one of Tony's strengths, I think she's only had maybe 2 DNFs this year, 1 to 2 DNFs. She's very patient, very calm, keeps her stuff under control, and I can see that playing well today. If you're smart here at Lime Rock, we talked about it a little bit in our practice broadcast yesterday. If you stay on track here, you don't have any incidents, you have a really good shot, especially for Tony, to be in the top 10 by the end of this race. So I think that's probably something she needs to lean into this weekend.
Well, Josh, what's Thomas Annunziata's outlook for today? He's on pole later on in ARCA. Good speed here in trucks, too.
Well, yeah, that's right. And this is his first time in a truck, but not his first time here at Lime Rock. So what do you think about your chances, and how did you feel about your first experience in the Craftsman Truck Series?
I mean, it's a dream come true. Just even seeing pictures of me in my own car, it's like, whoa, because I've been watching this stuff since I was 12, 13 years old. To think I'm here now is insane. But, yeah, this is my home track. It's one of my favorite tracks. Been here in the Trans Am Series as well. Won here before. I feel good. Our ARCA deal went well. We qualified on pole yesterday, but struggling with some handling issues as of right now. So I think as long as we get the lap together and the car does what I want it to do, we should be in the top 10, hopefully top 5. But I don't think it's really going to matter. I mean, it's going to be hectic out there. So as long as we keep our nose clean, we're going to have a fast enough car to win at the end of this race if all goes to hell. But yeah, we'll see. I'm super excited to drive this top line or Spire Motorsports race truck.
That's a good luck, Thomas. Jamie?
Thomas Annunziata coming up in group number 2. I love to hear that perspective. He's in awe of being here, and he looks at pictures of himself in the truck like, I can't believe that's me.
Michael, you've had the privilege of driving a ton of different types of race cars, race trucks, all these different things. You think it's easier for a guy like that to learn a new vehicle, or for our truck drivers to learn a new track?
Well, when you're talking about guys with the level of talent that Corey Heim has, Andres Perez, Tyler Ankrum, you know, it's just another race to them. They're going to be able to adapt this track just right off the bat. And the road racing experience, that's a bit of an equalizer for some of these kids that have just grown up road racing. So that'll be an advantage to them, but I still gotta think they're gonna have to go through Corey Heim to get to victory lane.
Riding on board with Frankie Muniz again as he works lap number 5 for this session. A 55.64 is his best, 14th on the board.
And we notice here on his feet the clutch pedal not being used. You know, there are different driving styles. We've talked about it a lot in the Cup Series with SVG using the heel toe method, but with this dog box, the gearbox that's in this truck, you do not have to use the clutch to upshift or downshift once you get off pit road. So you're going to see them blip that throttle to get some of those downshifts in.
Did you call it a dog box?
I think somebody called it that this week.
How about that?
I feel like, who was it? Maybe Brent Cruz when I talked to him earlier. He called it, I don't know. I never called it that. That's what he called it. So I was just thought he knew more about transmissions than I did, you know?
Look at those gloves. Frankie had some fuzzy gloves on. Help you with grip, or what is that?
Maybe. I didn't see those, Jay. Fuzzy gloves? Do you have fuzzy dice hanging from your mirror? He's got fuzzy gloves.
Look at that.
Oh, that looked exciting. Coming in hot for Tyler Ankrum.
Get ready for that all afternoon. That's probably my second favorite shot. My favorite shot is when they pop off turn 5 and get that air. We'll hear those engines rev up. We'll see the tires come off the ground.
I don't know how I pick a favorite shot. Everywhere you look here, they're so busy. You look at turns 3 and 4, they're just sliding around. You look off 5, they're in the air. Turn 7, they're sideways, getting onto the front straightaway. There is definitely no moment that they don't feel on edge at this racetrack.
And wait till we see all 34 trucks out there together on this narrow racetrack. There's going to be action all over the place.
Whoa!
And you know, I have to think, like, coming here, new track, you're on edge. I don't want to jinx us now, but we've seen these drivers be very controlled and staying on course, doing a great job adapting and finding speed. Maybe that's because they're always on the edge. Like, if you're always on the limit, you kind of know it doesn't sneak up on you, and seems like they're doing a really good job adapting.
There's Ben Rhodes, 5th quick with a 54.45. Did he just have a moment?
You can see there, uphill turn 5 into 6, and now heading down toward turn 7. Let's see what happened to Ben here.
Well, that's off turn 2, getting a little wide, tracking out. Ooh.
That's when you just beat the steering wheel and say, man, messed up this whole lap. I got to go get another one.
Yeah, and if you do that early in that section, it costs you for the next 3 corners. You know, we're starting to see that dirt by the curb getting peeled up too. That hole's going to just get bigger. That rut there will get worse. Josh?
Well, yeah, you see Andres Perez went back out to run another lap despite being on top of the board. When he came in, the team wanted to make some adjustments. They made an air pressure adjustment to help him with the left-hander. So even though he knows he has the fast truck, remember, for Andres Perez, this is a very important race, a chance to put his way into the playoffs. So they wanted to make sure they have this truck exactly the way they need it, despite already being on top of the board.
Well, and Josh, you know, being on top of the board's great, but you have to stack up against this next group. All these times will combine from the 2 groups to get your starting spot. So it was advantageous to go out, see if you can go faster, because just because you're fastest in this group doesn't mean you'll start on the front row.
And he lost a couple of tenths on that 3rd run there. Picked up on his 2nd run, but still the fastest by a quarter of a second.
Speaking of quarter, Dale Quarterly on track.
Nice
doing
segue,
a nice
Jamie.
job. Just about 15 seconds remain here. Dale Quarterly in the ARCA Menard Series race coming up after our race today. We have 3 double-duty dippers, and he was quick over there, qualified 7th.
Did get to the green there before the time expired.
Yeah, you can continue your lap if you take the green prior to. And he's doing just that.
We've got the whole gamut in this race. We've got 16-year-olds, and we've got Dale Quarterly at 64 years old.
Very talented road racer is Quarterly. As you see Slimp there in the 62, he's still making laps, using this as a practice session to prepare for the race. He's run 11 laps, by far the most of any of the competitors. Ran his fastest lap, did Slimp on lap 6.
There he is, the man who's fastest in Group 1, Andres Perez. Can anybody knock him off for the pole? Group 2 is coming up next.
Yeah, and we talk about how narrow this racetrack is. Andres Perez used every ounce of asphalt he could find, including this runoff in turn 5, which is a kind of treacherous corner anyways. Michael, you go in the air, but he uses all the asphalt. I haven't seen anybody that wide yet.
Look how light that thing is as he slides nearly off the road, gets it back onto the asphalt before the dirt there. Nice job there by Andres. Fastest truck so far.
Let's hear from the fastest man in Connecticut so far, Josh.
And Andres, I'm curious, you're watching it back. What's that feeling like when you're going over that hill?
Oh yeah, it's sketchy because it's you know, we're on the limit every single lap here in Lime Rock, just having fun. I love roller course racing. I feel like we put down a really decent lap there. It was our second lap attempt, so we'll see where we stack. I'm hopeful, but yeah, the track is just getting better and better. So overall, it was a good qualifying, and yeah, we'll see where we're at.
Andres Perez, the fastest in group number 1, Jamie.
The driver from Mexico City, last year's ARCA Menard Series champion, getting it done so far today. And this is beautiful too. Group number 2 coming out for qualifying. Some fast drivers in this session. Brent Cruz, that's one to watch in the 1 truck, and Corey Heim, of course, in the 11.
Does anyone from this group beat that hot lap put down by Andres?
I think so. I do. You see the track kind of lightening up a little bit where the rubber's getting picked up actually right now in qualifying with less trucks on it. Andres said the track's getting better. We know these drivers are some of our fastest in the series. They were fast yesterday with Jordan Taylor, Brent Cruz, Corey Heim. I think they'll at least touch that 50 you guessed. I don't know if we'll get to the 30, 50, 53, 30, if I can get it out, that I thought. We'll see.
Chandler Smith working his way to the left-hander. Of course, that's followed by the right-hander. And then we're going to go down the Paul Newman straight-ish.
It's not really straight.
I love that the sign is like right in the middle of one of the corners.
But my favorite part of the racetrack, as anybody that's watched the practice session, this qualifying session knows, turn 5. It's a lot of fun as you see Napa Auto Care number 19 for Daniel Hemrick working his way around this beautiful facility.
Whoa!
Somebody went off
track.
How's that? How much does that freak you out, Trevor, if you come into that turn?
Right through the smoke.
Yeah.
Cole.
Just don't lift.
Don't lift. Looks like the 19 Daniel Hemrick decided to lift after lap 1:55.0.
Look at this. Lane Riggs wasted no time. Jumped right to the top of the board with a 53.69. Last week's winner.
Fastest time.
There's a 60 for Corey Heim.
Heim to the top as we look at the 38 of Chandler Smith once again. Josh told the story yesterday. Road course racing was not his thing until he went to Joe Gibbs Racing. Something clicked. Now he embraces it.
He's on lap 2 here. We'll see if he can get a pickup, running 2 laps in a row.
I don't see it. I think that first lap, like Corey Heim went out and just busted that off. Whoa.
Keeps it straight. That's about the most we've seen over the last 2 days. Nobody's gotten off.
Well, and I think partially why you see them run off right there in turn 6 is it's right after that alternate start-finish line, and you really don't want to back up that corner. You want to make sure you get through that start-finish line and then lift. And sometimes you see some drivers maybe carry a little too much speed after the start-finish line.
Oh, it was Lane Riggs who kicked up all the dust for Daniel Hemrick.
We're just seeing a lot of guys going for it right now and just trying to make this track as wide as they can and running out of room doing so.
And right now, it doesn't seem too violent, but as more and more tracks run off there, we know it'll get a worse rut and will cost you more to go through it.
7 truck, Jordan Taylor. He did a mock qualifying run at the end of practice yesterday, went to the top of the board. You're not familiar with this man? Well, he's done it all in the road course racing world. It's been 24 hours. He's won it.
That's
won it multiple
exactly
times.
Right. Le Mans, Daytona, Sebring. He's tiptoeing his way toward turn 5 and starting to heat it up and take that green flag at the alternate start-finish line. This guy thinks he can get the pole.
We've seen the 7 truck be really fast in a lot of races with drivers like Kyle Busch, Carson Hocevar, different people jumping in that are ringers at any track, but Jordan Taylor here, obviously at Lime Rock, is one of the favorites.
Let's ride this whole lap with him, check him out. As you see, he takes a narrow kind of entry into that turn 1 there, Trevor.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to stay below the rubber. You see how dark black it is up high, so you want to get down low, and you see him with a lot of control as he sets up the truck through turn 3, getting low on exit here.
Now see how he handles this treacherously tough turn 5, called the uphill here at Lime Rock Park. There it is. Woo! I'm sorry. I'll quit doing that, I promise. Did you see the
You
tires
put your
off the
hands
car?
up like you were on a
fun to
roller
watch.
coaster and everything. I hope we got the picture for that ride.
I feel like I'm riding with him when that thing does. That's just fun to me. I don't know why.
Ooh, a 29.
To the top.
Wow. Someone
Got below the 30. That's pretty close.
What a lap. Great job for Jordan Taylor.
99.8 miles per hour. First time ever in a truck, by the way. He's run a cup race at COTA. He's run a few Xfinity races in his career. He also has that alter ego.
Yeah.
Rodney Sandstorm. It's actually
It's on the door.
on the door. And it's the top selling t-shirt this weekend right now, I hear.
I talked to him yesterday, and he said, I usually don't bring Rodney to the racetrack. He's the fan guy. But he said, NASCAR, I had to bring Rodney Sandstrom to life.
And Rodney is a Jeff Gordon fan. That's really what it is. He has a lot of fun with it. Fast on the racetrack, funny off the racetrack. As we look at the 17 of Gio Ruggiero.
We see 2 Tricon trucks rolling out at the same time here. Brent Cruz, another road course guy, sliding around a lot here for lap 1.
That thing looks loose, doesn't it?
It does.
Take a look at the 1 truck right here.
Off a 7. Ooh, carrying a little bit too much exit speed.
And that messes up the whole lap, huh?
Does. And his teammate behind him having to pull down to miss him. Gio Ruggiero still jumping to 8th. Brent Cruz 5th on that lap, even though it didn't look the best. They're kind of starting turns 1, 2. It'd be interesting to see what he can do if he gets another shot at it.
That's a heck of a lap considering how it started.
So Brent Cruz brings it down pit road. 13 minutes remain. They can park it, they can cool it down, make any adjustments he needs, and then come out right at the end. So something different that we normally don't see in qualifying here for the trucks.
Well, and I'm looking at this board here. You have a handful of drivers, about 6 drivers that have only put 1 lap on their tires and were able to jump to the top. Our top 3 being some of those with Jordan Taylor, Corey Heim, Lane Riggs. So if they want to run again, they still have a pretty good amount of tire to go and go faster. The drivers like Andres Perez, which was in Group 1, ended up running 5 laps. That's a lot of laps for the fall off that we're seeing for lap time.
Stuart Friesen's best time yesterday was a 55.42. 55.13 on his first lap here.
Stuart Friesen making another hot lap. Stuart brings it back to the pit after running a 54.95. He's currently 25th.
Caden Honeycutt jumped up in the top 5 there on that lap. We saw him right in front of the 52. Stuart Friesen.
Of the top 10 trucks, the only first rounder is Andres Perez. He's 5th. All the other trucks up there are actively on the track right now. There you see Caden Honeycutt. Kevin Harvick was with us for the last race. He's a huge Caden Honeycutt fan, and I think anybody is when you see what this young man's done in short track racing, and he's proven how versatile he is. Comes to Lime Rock, puts it right up in the top 5.
Coming off third place finish last week at Pocono. 11 minutes remain in qualifying here. Who will be on the pole? Will it be Jordan Taylor in his Truck Series debut?
that. It's going to be some great racing tonight.
Congratulations to Nick Sanchez. Won the Xfinity Series race. Actually, today it ended at 1:30 a.m. thanks to the weather. But he's a Truck Series racer over the last couple of years. Won a couple times here, and now he's an Xfinity Series winner. Let's hear from a guy who knows how to get it done, Mr. Ben Rhodes.
And Ben Rhodes has a road course win. That was at Daytona. So what do you think about your truck? You told me yesterday was okay, and today it's not going as well.
Yeah, not quite the speed we hoped for today with our T-Sport Ford F-150. We just are really, really tight. It's kind of sitting on the back springs, and the front's just not working for me. So we got to figure that out, see if we can get put on the front springs for the race. But right now we'll have a little bit of work to do. I think we're 18th in the standings at the moment. So this is one of those tracks where I think track position will be important for a road course. Just a narrow track, and your passing opportunities are a little limited. So we wanted to be inside the top 10, but, you know, a little bit of work to do. It's not going to stop us.
Pressure is on for the two-time champ as he has work to do to get above that cut line, Jamie.
Well, I like the smile on his face still, and yes, they have exactly 3 hours before the race today, so they can make those adjustments, try to get things dialed in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think what he was talking about there with the rear springs versus front springs is yesterday we saw the backs of these trucks really sliding around. So in order to get some rear grip, they soften up the back a little bit. What that can do, Michael, takes the load off the nose, and now you don't have as much steering as you need. So they're trying to find that balance and how much spring.
Corey Heim to the top as we watch that lap. I was going to say, is this what it's supposed to look like?
That was a flyer. We were able to watch. As you see on our pylon there, he only ran 1 lap, so he's got plenty of tire to go out and do what Corey Heim did. That's what his crew chief just told him. He said, buddy, those tires are plenty fine to go run a fast lap. We just saw it done.
Daniel Hemrick didn't have the speed earlier that he wanted, brought the truck back in after 1 lap, and now here he is already working lap number 4, moved up the board a little bit in 12th.
Yeah, the right front of that truck was bouncing a lot there as it came off the curb, and that's a big deal, is how much does it recover as you change and bounce, and you want to keep the tire contact on the ground, and it seems to be what Daniel's maybe struggling with a little bit there.
Brent Cruz trying to go a little bit quicker as well. 53.79 is his quickest.
We saw him struggle on that first run getting off the road, but still put down a heck of a lap. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brent hop up that scoring pylon here. Very talented road racer.
Goes off just a little bit there.
Taking the green flag on this run.
Off a little bit, not as bad as the first run.
We tightened it up a bit, didn't we? Chandler Smith, he's back in 15th. Taking another pass at it.
Mentioned Corey Heim's last lap when he jumped to the top, first driver to hit 100 miles per hour. That was his average around this place.
Well, and that's a full second than any time he ran yesterday. So obviously a lot of grip on the racetrack. These trucks are taped up. They can't make that adjustment. You see on the grill there. Air pressure's bumped up a little bit for qualifying as well.
Connor Mosak on his 5th lap hops up to the 6th position, so that's a pretty impressive lap. See what Brent does. Yeah, 53.50, he hops up, and he's going to go for it again.
Oh my goodness.
One of these days he's going to figure out how wide turn 7 is, isn't he?
I think he needs about 3 more feet of asphalt, and he'll be just fine. Just put that down before the race for him.
Don't you love that, though? He is getting with it.
Well, and keep in mind, this is only his 2nd race in a truck, and so knowing how far it's going to slide, knowing when it's going to grip up or recover, that is very challenging. And to have the speed that Jordan Taylor and Brent Cruz have, to have so few laps in a truck, is pretty incredible. And I think you're going to see them figure out how to manipulate these trucks more and more as the race goes on, and even be faster as we go to, lap 50 of this race. Is going to look totally different for these two drivers that don't have many laps.
Look at Tom Majeski. He jumps inside the top 5. Great lap there. Don't you love that mix? We talked about this all day long, Trevor. You've got one of our regulars, Corey Heim. Then you got a road race ace, Jordan Taylor. Tom Majeski, another one of our regulars in this 98 truck. He's third quick. And then Brent Cruz, he's part of that top 5 as well.
Yeah, and I look at Ty Majeski, and with his short track background, he's so good at managing brake pressure. And that's a big topic here at road courses, how you brake and what you do.
8 drivers on track with 2 minutes remaining. There's Corey Heim sitting next to his crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, watching this all shake down, seeing if it's going to be him on pole. 4 times he's led the field to green this season. 4 times he's ended in victory lane, too.
Jordan Taylor decides he needs another pass at it.
Think he's got it in him?
He's got the tires to do it, and now he knows what can be done. He saw Corey Heim do it.
Taylor went out earlier, just 1 lap, went to the top, sat there for a while until Corey Heim bumped him. Corey Heim 3 laps in total.
That's what Jordan Taylor will have at the end of this run. He takes the green flag and begins his journey around this 1.5 mile, 7-turn road course located in Northeast. Oh no,
That's that 10 extra feet of driving in to find that 10th, right?
That could mean changing a tire. I mean, that thing had to be flat spotted. As we're riding along with Riggs on the right, see what his front bumper's looking at. I'm concerned about that tire for Jordan.
A lot of smoke down into the corner.
And that's the highest speed on the track too. He's got to be feeling that thing though.
Lane Riggs comes in. He'll settle for 3rd for right now as Jordan Taylor stays on the gas.
Uh-oh.
Grant Enfinger, this is the first truck we've actually seen go off-road. He is covered in dirt.
Jordan Taylor did go faster on that lap, just not enough to bump Corey Heim.
Well, can you imagine how much faster he would have went had he not missed turn 1? That was impressive.
Oh, we got a left front damage on the 9 truck. Interested to see what he hit as he went off the track there. He pulled a lot of dirt onto the racing surface as well, so anyone that was on their final lap here going to have to deal with that through turn 3.
6 trucks still out there. Time has expired. They can finish their lap. Grant Enfinger, 14th on the board, the one we saw just go off road with that damage. You see Tanner Gray. Tanner's turned quite a few laps, 6 in total in this session.
Yeah, his first lap was still his fastest.
Sometimes you have to, there's your pole sitter.
And he does it. Corey Heim, for the 5th time this season, he'll lead the field to green, his 3rd official pole. He gets it done. Josh, he's just, those record books just keep adding Corey Heim to it. Let's hear from him.
That's right. It feels like it's always Heim time when we ever come to the track. So what were you thinking there as we were watching Taylor make his final lap to try and catch you, and then he kind of, skidded in a flat spot of those tires?
Yeah, I think if he had a mistake-free lap, we were probably going to be in 2nd there. I feel like my first lap out was actually really good. I think it was just a matter of the tires coming up to 10th the 2nd time. I was actually really sloppy on the lap that I ended up putting out, and I put us on the pole. I thought my first lap was better, but like I said, the tire grip wasn't there the first run. So yeah, I mean, I'll take it. I missed a couple gears, I missed a couple shifts, that last lap, but it just shows the speed of our Tundra today. Super thankful for Tricon Garage, Show It In Safe Flight. Really enjoy coming to these road courses, and it's a very new challenge for us drivers here at Lime Rock. So cool to start out with the pole, and going to be a big track position race, so got to stay there.
Everybody was talking about how fast this track is and how narrow it is. What do you think it's going to take to be able to survive this race and come home with a win?
Yeah, once again, just track position. You know, with how narrow the track is in general, it's going to be tough to make passes, and it's going to be really tough to come back from behind too. So staying out front is going to be a big goal of ours today. I know the strategy is pretty straightforward with the controlled pit stops and whatnot, but you know, one little mistake can lead you off course and put you way behind. So going to take a really mistake-free day, for lack of a better word, but I'm confident we can do that.
Heim will lead the field to green here at Lime Rock. Jamie?
All that preparation, Trevor, you talked about that this young man puts into his craft, especially when it comes to a new track. It pays off. He picks up the pole. And starting next to him, Jordan Taylor. How about this lineup? This is the storylines we've been talking about.
Yes, our regulars versus the road course ringers, and you don't have to go any further than row one to see a perfect picture of just that.
Coming up at 1 Eastern on Fox, can Corey Heim pick up his 5th win of the season? And how about the fans? Rolled in starting at 7:30 a.m. this morning. We mentioned it earlier, 30,000 people expected here to watch this doubleheader today. And tonight, it's baseball night in America on Fox as two of the league's best face off as Kyle Tucker leads the Cubs against Jose Altuve and the Astros. Or the Phillies take on the
It's a beautiful scene here in Connecticut.
Well, and we saw some drivers finally pushing the limits there, Michael. We said at some point they're going to have to find what is too much. We saw Jordan Taylor lock up the right front. We saw Grant Enfinger off the track, dust flying, turns 5, 6, 7.
Brent Cruz sliding off in turn 7, just giving it all they got.
Some things to look forward to. Modified live stops coming up later. All the pit crews that you normally see, they're in Atlanta. Different spotters on the roof. A lot of storylines. But let's hear from the man starting second.
That's right, as he gets the chance to debrief with Rajat Karuth. But Jordan, I'm going to pull you aside real quick and just ask you about that final lap and what happened as you tried to make your effort to get past Heim for the pole.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you only have one lap to do it, and I feel like I'm still learning the truck a bit. So yesterday we had practice, obviously, to get a feel for things, and then you come today, you have no practice, you just go for your one lap. So I felt like I did a good first lap, kind of a banker, and left some on the table here and there. In the lap 2, I knew I needed a brake later in turn 1 and locked up the right front, and I think that killed the rest of the lap, just losing front grip the rest of the lap. So lesson learned, but yeah, happy to be starting on the front row. You know, the truck's been great with Spire all weekend. But yeah, now it's race time, and hopefully we can just stay out of trouble for the 3 stages and, you know, be somewhere at the front for the fight at the end. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Thanks and good luck today, Jordan.
Yeah, a lot different over here for Jordan Taylor driving these trucks compared to those sports cars he's used to. Remember the Truck Series